Makes you think I give a shit.
Hey! Capcom, one of the pioneers of having a great old time, playing some video game franchises with their Street Fighter, Mega Man, Resident Evil, and motherfucking Ace Attorney. That is good stuff, However, they were never a stranger to being stupid.
You just love making me look like an asshole, don't you?
I'm saying that in the past tense now, thanks be to God, because, well, for the most part, Capcom have been on a roll again lately, with 2 excellent Resident Evil games and one that's, alright. But in March 2019, we had the release of Devil May Cry 5. Having been a fan of this series for nearly 20 years now, I gotta tell you something, lads. The release of this game, it was like an event. Especially when the last title, Devil May Cry 4, came out in 2008. Yep, it was a full 11-year wait. That was fun. You might be wondering, but sure, what the fuck even is a Devil May Cry? Well, here, I'll tell you. It's an action game series where the key is to not only kick the shit out of demons, but to also look like a boss while doing it. You're graded for your performance during combat, as well as at the end of a mission. The game does a mission structure. Oh yeah, and also the first Devil May Cry was originally going to be a Resident Evil game. Yeah, I think everyone knows this bit though. The later Devil May Cry games definitely became far more combat focused. And oh boy, yeah, the combat in this series, yeah, it's at a whole other level. Giving the players so many options on how to kick ass, like the fact that you have so many tools at your disposal, it's just wonderful. It allows every DMC player to have their own strats, since the skill ceiling is so high. Mastery, for mere mortals such as myself, is next to impossible. But I gotta say, I've seen some really good DMC players. And lads, fair fucking play to yous. So, we got this well-good action game series here that's ingrained in its over-the-top camp nature with its goofy as fuck main protagonist who likes pizza and just having mad crack like. But Capcom decided it needed more anti-crack and serious grit and shit. So yeah, you know what that means.
Fucking outsourced. But how do you do it? How do you westernize the Devil May Cry series? A very Japanese series with its overly stylized characters and the like. You know, it has this camp universe, this wholesome story about family and the preservation of legacy. Well, you do it like this. Apparently.
DMC Devil May Cry, the attempted reboot of the Devil May Cry series. And as you can tell from my overly chirpy face, I was very fucking stoked for it.
My name is Dante.
The development of this game was handed over to British devs Ninja Theory, who, at the time, were most known for that Heavenly Sword PS3 game, as well as that other one with Andy Serkis. You know the one where you're knocking fellas with your stick. In 2017, they hit major success thanks to the title Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, and they have somewhat recently been bought by Microsoft and are now a first-party studio. Good owl Phil Spencer looks well stoked. Now, the question is, did the series really need a reboot? I personally didn't think so. Yeah, I know Devil May Cry 4 was a little stale for some people, but hell, I liked it. Nero's vroom vroom sword, that was gas crack like, pun intended. No, the problem with this game was the fact that the developers didn't get to feckin' finish it like. This reveal trailer was also not the best. This was straining way too much from the source material, lad. Like, what in all flavours of what the fuck. I'm pretty sure anyone that was around to see the trailer at the time remembered the Dante who smoked, used a demon as an ashtray, and just the overtly gritty and harsh tone to everything. To say that the Devil May Cry fandom was a wee bit pissed is an understatement.
They were fucking human, lad. And I was one of them. Okay, granted, I wasn't as extreme as some other fans, but I was very, very unhappy with the direction the series was taking. Especially when 4 had such an open-ended ending. It just felt like it, needed that one more game. Which it got. Eventually. But in the meantime we had this. And I'm happy, mind you. 5 is by far my favourite game in the entire series, and I really overhyped it. The last few days before it came out, I couldn't fucking sleep, I'll tell you that. But since then, I haven't properly touched DMC, which is the reboot. DMC, Devil May Cry. I know it's a very confusing name. So I'm gonna wonder, how's it gonna be? But sure, why don't we find out, love? Be fucking gas.
For this review, I'll be covering the 2013 PC release of the game. I'll also be dabbling briefly in the definitive edition that released in 2015 on PS4 and Xbox One. Why am I not reviewing that on PC? Well, for some reason, they didn't release it on PC. Don't know why, but it is what it is. Alright, yeah, and one more thing. I am well aware that a lot of people do like the game. And if you do like it, fair play to you, lad. Really. But this review is going to be a little bit critical, like. I did like some stuff of the game, I can tell you that right now. That training room, that was proper. What else was proper? Well sure, why don't we find out? Right, here we go. I am well excited. Before we get into anything, I think we need to talk about that big knob that's in the room. The protagonist, Dante. In the original series, Dante is just this plain jolly old asshole who loves dicking about and loves trying to entertain himself. Whether he surfs on a rocket, runs down a tower, drives up the same tower, and he's just a magnificent bastard, like. The drastic redesign of Dante was by far the most controversial aspect of the game leading to its release. And while my problems with the character have nothing really to do with his design, yeah, it's not a great design, like. He really does look like any 7th gen game protagonist that was a dime a dozen at the time. And I actually do feel bad for Ninja Theory. It's not their fault. Capcom made them have to do this drastic redesign of our character. But my ma always told me to never judge someone based on their appearance. And yeah, they're very important words. So, what's this Dante like?
What makes you think I give a shit?
Fuck. Yeah, he's a bit of a dickhead, isn't he? Sorry, Dante. Except not really. Oh, and one more thing. The game opens up with him going into a strip club. Classy, I know. But it shows us that this rebooted Dante definitely gets plenty of sexy times. Which I find kinda weird, because original Dante? Yeah, him and sexy times, yeah, they were on, completely opposite ends of the dictionary. Anyway, next morning, after this fella had his wee sexy gallivant in the club, he wakes up to hear some loud knocking. Oh dear.
Get out of there! You're in danger!
This hooded lady here is Kat, who probably didn't expect to see Dante's demonic ding-dong this morning, but hey, what have you. She warns him that this hunter demon is after him, and after he decides to get his clothes back all cool and shit, he starts fighting away. Yup, so we're now getting to the proper main stuff. The combat. Since we're at the start of the game, it's obviously a bit more limited in comparison to how it'll be once you've purchased all the moves. But you know what? It's not that bad. One thing I can give this game credit for is actually the sound design. I do like the sound you hear when you hack into an enemy with just a basic combo. Good shite. And right when I have something positive to say about the 2 combos in the game I have at the moment, this happens.
Not in a million years.
Yeah, this scene was very controversial at the game's release, and I was one of the people who was extremely unhappy with the scene, as many other DMC fans were. But you know the funny thing is, that mop or toupee, whatever it is that landed on his head, makes him look way better. Why did he have to take it off? Could he not have just looked at it on himself in the mirror and went, you know what, this suits me, I should keep this. But at the same time, you really have to ask, why? Like Ninja Theory, you guys feckin' knew that the game was controversial and for some reason decided to put in that cutscene. Like, okay, I know the fandom and the developers definitely had their fair share of rows, but at the same time this was not a very polite way to handle it. And it's kind of out of nowhere too. I would have placed the scene maybe in the No, fuck that. I wouldn't put the scene in the game at all.
You can't hurt this hunter demon because of, well, reasons. And Cat is like, ah sure, Dante love, I'm here to help and I can help you kill the hunter demon. And Dante is all like, yeah, sound. And then she throws a bottle of petrol at his head. Yep, so this is the first boss of the game. And how is it? Pretty good, actually. Despite his thickness, he's a pretty agile fucker, so you have to be careful. He does this one bit where the whole area gets engulfed in purple smoke and he'll start throwing this bladey spinny thing around, and if you counter it just right, you can whack him well good. It's pretty similar to that Credo fight in DMC4 where Nero can throw the spear right back at him. It's a bit easier to time, but yeah. After Dante ruined everyone's lovely day at the fun fair, he is invited to this mysterious organisation known as the Order by this Mr. Anonymous man here, who turns out to be this universe's iteration of Virgil. So, context, Virgil in the original series is like, well, he's like the baddest fucker ever in a video game. He's able to slice so quick that you're dead before you even realise that you had died, like. He is one of the greatest antagonists and rivals ever in a video game. A perfect contrast to Dante's carefree personality. This dude is cold, ruthless, and fucking precise.
So, this is what they call a heartwarming family reunion, eh?
You got that right.
He's also a meme machine. I'm pretty sure every line to ever come out of Dan Southworth's mouth as the character has been made into a meme at some point or another.
Thank you, insane buffoon!
Being that he is also Dante's twin brother, he is the only character that can equal Dante in just his sheer power, which, FYI, he usually wants more of. So, what do I think of this guy? He's now a computer nerd who has a questionable fashion sense. And I know what you're thinking, yes, that hat does make him look a bit like a knob.
Now, I'm not exactly the one to be a big fashion judge, like, Jesus God help me, but that hat they had in the 2013 release, the original release, it's beautiful. Except not really, because the developers were aware of it, that in the 2015 re-release, the definitive edition, they literally deleted it off the model. That is fucking brilliant. I've never seen a developer do that, but there probably was.
He tells Dante that since he doesn't even remember his childhood, he might as well tag along and see what Virgil's story is. Dante doesn't really care, even though he should probably raise an eyebrow of the fact that, you know, Virgil has the exact same face as him. They go to this big old dirty manor, where Cat uses a squirrel's,
Doesn't smell too good. What's in the can?
A compound I created based on an old Wiccan recipe. Sea salt, shark oil, iron shavings, desiccated squirrel semen, wolf hair.
Good stuff.
to open a portal to Limbo. This gives Dante a way to access the world of Limbo. It's the place where you fight demons.
They're two separate realms. We got a grey one and we got an orange one. They do still affect each other though, somewhat, I think. I mean, Hunter Demon was able to throw the Ferris wheel, and after he threw the Ferris wheel, it did affect the real world. I don't know, it's somewhat inconsistent, but for the most part, Limbo is cool, I think. Yeah, I think it was cool.
Dante has to rediscover who he is, so he takes a little gander around this big old gaff, beating up demons, and then he discovers he is part demon and gets an axe. Savage. And he discovers he is part angel, and when that happened, I was saying, eh? Yeah, Reboot Dante is apparently part angel also, although he doesn't look like it, does he? He acts like the proper bollocks. And now that we finally have our first angel and demon weapons, let's get into that good combat-y stuff. Dante has his normal rebellion attacks, but he also has these angel and demon attacks. Angel attacks are usually light and have excellent air control, while demon are slow but strong. You know you're hot shit when you're able to mix the combos well good, except for the fact that you can't lock on. Yay. I think the combat at this point is now pretty good, actually. I do find the input for doing Stinger a bit weird though, having to flick the stick twice, but sure you can adjust like. Enemy stepping is now really easy. It's so easy in fact I could probably do it while taking a shite. I don't think it was the worst idea to try and make the combat more accessible. I mean, most people don't even know what a jump cancel is, so trying to get more people to learn it wasn't really the worst idea. However, I do see the other side of the argument also. The Devil May Cry series is quite well known for its difficulty and the nail-bitingly difficult bosses you would encounter, and the importance of learning everything and finding ways to be creative on how to kick a demon's ass. Unfortunately, a lot of enemies in this title seem to make it that you should not play this like a Devil May Cry. I'm pretty sure for most people who have played the game this may come across as somewhat a bit of a PTSD, but yeah, color-coded enemies. Yeah, they ain't great. They're damage sponges in the early game when all you have is one angel and one demon weapon each. Basically, blue demons you have to use the angel weapons and red, vice versa. This was mended somewhat in the definitive edition, but again, I'm playing on PC. Woohoo. Anyway, Dante gets his memory back bit by breaking these locks at this Mind Palace realm. I don't know what it's called exactly, but he found out that Mundus killed Dante's ma and imprisoned his dad. Oh dear, he is well furious.
I will never forget what he did to her.
You did, mate. It's the reason you're fucking there.
Anyway, Mundus controls this universe's telly and fizzy drinks. His army of demons are spiking the drinks and brainwashing the people with their news stations. Jesus. Well, first, Dante is heading to the Virility Factory to take out the demon drink. We get this one really weird cutscene where Dante is talking about how he fought his whole life. It's really odd because it does just show up out of the blue.
Virgil pulled me out of the nightmare. You?
When the people you're supposed to trust most.
Okay.
Yeah, the game decided to go all metal with this character backstory. It's well mad, and it's shit. Afterwards, she fucks Dante off into Limbo again, and he has to get back up there and destroy the source of the demon aid.
Obesity, stupidity, drink virility.
Subtle as fuck. Guess now is a good time to talk about the platforming. It's good. Definitely the one thing this game has over the old games, I can tell you that much. It isn't amazing or anything now, mind, but with a glide ability and being able to pull yourself up to something or pull things down, yeah, it's pretty good stuff, like. Anyway, once you get up there, you fight these big thick boys, and you get Cat to pull this egg timer of all things, as Dante drops down there to kill the source of the fizzy drinks. The cutscene we have following up this is truly a sight to behold.
So you must be the secret ingredient. I'm your prime date, you ugly sack of shit.
What the fuck, man?
Yeah, I'm not even going to mince words here. This cutscene and this boss are terrible. You have to dodge her roaring, her scratching, and yes, her vomiting. And to be honest, I got frustrated at this boss while I was playing it. I think the cutscene before just got me in a bit of a dire mood or something, but yeah, the succubus is not the best. Is it the worst boss in the game though?
Yes.
Once you've beaten her, you get a new demonic weapon from her. Giant, funky looking hands. Yeah, they're definitely no Beowulf, not even closely. They're pretty ugly things, yeah, but they're useful, like. Their combo B is a little bit shite, but yeah, they're grand, I guess. With the soft drink industry completely destroyed, it's time we take on our next enemy, the telly. Next we go to this upside down prison area. Again, this is one of the reasons I actually think Limbo is cool sometimes. We meet this owl fucker too, who's wishing away some birds. And he's all like, "Are you sure, Dante, what's the crack? Do you want your maximum potential?" And Dante is like, "I'm sure, why the fuck not?"
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, it's time we get to his Devil Trigger. Now, the Devil Trigger, for people who are unaware, is a transformation in every Devil May Cry game. It boosts your overall stats, it heals you, and it makes you look like one bad lad. It's class. Dante's DT design has actually changed in every entry. I think the only time they ever had somewhat consistency are the ones from 4 and 5. They look very similar. And as a matter of fact, in 3, he had multiple designs done by Cosmac Kaneko, who is of Persona fame. And let me tell you, they were really damn cool. I especially love the one with the van. So yeah, most of the DTs of the series have looked great. They've looked brilliant for the most part. So, how is this one? That isn't great.
His jacket and eyes go all red and his hair turns white. Oh, that's a wonderful little homage right there, isn't it? It now lifts enemies up in the air and makes everything really awkward to see. And hit, funnily enough. But sure, look, I think this was a really wasted opportunity. If they wanted to do something unique with this Dante, this wasn't the right way to do it. He's half angel, right? Why not do something with that? The idea of this fucker sprouting angel wings actually makes me laugh at the thought. Anyway, Phineas confuses the shit out of Dante before disappearing into nothing. I know. He tells him to kill an unborn child also. Yeah, I'm serious. You have another boss battle here, and it is the best in terms of visual design. Bob Barbas. What I particularly love about this boss battle is the build up to it. You walk on top of the graphics, well, like the television. You can see it, you know what the fuck I'm talking about. He's not that hard, but he's definitely not a weak boss in comparison to the last one we was talking about anyway. You ground pound the lights, you fly into this telly, whack the shit into these demons that I think are being portrayed as normal people outside of the realm of Limbo to the people watching this on TV. Jesus Christ, that must be weird to watch. After Bob is beaten, you get an angel weapon. And this weapon, oh, it's well good. Very good for crowd control. The Order is about to get raided, so he's gotta leave, but before that Virgil has all these important files, because of course he does, the fucking weed. So we gotta protect him while he backs up the drives. He gives you a shotgun to make it easier, thank Jesus. Would have been handier if he helped me, but you know, maybe this Virgil just doesn't fight.
Kat unfortunately gets kidnapped, the poor dote. So Dante tries to rescue her by kidnapping Mundus' lady friend Lilith, because she is pregnant with Mundus' child. Alright. Yeah, this mission's a bit of a weird one. In one way it is really cool because of the round one fight. But in another way it isn't. Like those lights, yeah, those lights were severe overkill. That is why you're watching me instead of seeing all them colours, flying right into your face. I'm such a gent.
During this mission you also fight a character called Drekovec. He's a more powerful variant of an enemy type called the Dream Runner. He's the closest thing you can get to having a rival, really. He's a mini-boss, I guess, but he is tougher than most of the bosses in the game, so he's an in-between boss. Next we fight another boss, Mundus' spawn, and yep, that truly is one of the most something, isn't it? How is this boss then? Well, I have some bad news, lads. It's proper crap. You have to damage sponge him until Lilith comes out, and because of the fact that you only get to hit her for a few seconds, it won't take long before you have to beat the spawn all over again. This fight is long and boring. And then the lights just start going mad later. Well, at least you can't see too well because, fuck me, the lighting here is even worse than most nightclubs I've been in. Right, so we kidnap Mundus' Juan, so we're doing a hostage trade. Oh dear.
I'm pretty sure I speak for a majority of the DMC fandom when I talk about this particular scene not being the best Virgil has ever had. Like, what happens in it, it is just really nasty shit, and I don't even want to show it. It has nothing to do with YouTube's restrictions. I really don't want to show what it is. So instead, I'll illustrate it through Microsoft Paint. Don't worry. I'm really good.
What we got here is a dire situation, but we're switching Lilith for Kat. Dante was all like, well, what's the crack? Are you ready to do this trade? And the guard was like, grand. But then something happened that no one saw coming. Virgil showed up. And he was like, what's the crack, lads? A story, Dante. Look what I found in the trunk of the car. Yep. Virgil ended up shooting a pregnant woman. This character's a piece of shit.
So, yeah, Mundus is a bit pissed off, obviously. So what does he do? He lets out a vent of anger and kills a shitload of innocent civilians. Nice one, the Order.
For this really short mission, you escort this car that has a big V on it, of course it does, and something happens. I don't really know if it's explained, but time starts freezing everywhere, lads. This is somewhat like Quicksilver, but not really since you can't control it. I might be missing something here, but I don't think it's ever explained. Anyway, final set of missions ahead, hi. We climb up Mundus' tower as Dante and Virgil infiltrate it all tactical espionage style. Except not really, since Dante is all, well boys. And as you can see here, he is really good at causing a ruckus, the wee little divil. Mundus isn't having any of that crack though, and he's all like, you better fuck off. Virgil, though, we found out isn't much of a swordsman. He's more of a ranged fighter, if anything. Sneaks in and starts hacking away. And by hacking away, I mean doing the computers. Dante charges into Mundus' base through Limbo. And he also starts hacking away. And we all know what kind of hacking away he does. The enemies become pretty tough fuckers from this point on. I'm playing on Nephilim difficulty, and while I admit I don't revisit this game nearly as much as the previous ones, yeah, some of these fights were getting surprisingly difficult towards the end. One thing I legitimately like about this mission is the heist setup with Cat's chalk diagrams. You see it bleed into the game world the odd time. That shit's really cool, like. And you know what's even cooler? Weapons. Specifically good weapons, such as this one, Kablooey. It's somewhat like Lucifer from 4 if there's anything to compare to in the old game. You shoot pins into an enemy and they detonate and they go up in smoke. Nice. You have your third and final Gallivant with Drekavec again here. And it's once again pretty class. Once you beat him here, he's dead. Good on ya. And next we have another bad mission here. And why is it a bad mission? Fire. Lots and lots of fire. And I'll admit I'm a bit salty like. I mean, here I am finishing the mission after having a struggling battle against the Dream Runner fellas, the witches and that big bulb face boy. And right when I'm about to finish the mission, I get caught in the fucking fire. It was dire. Next we have this magnificent line in gaming.
And I got a bigger dick.
As Dante and Virgil solve the only puzzle in the entire game to finally fight Mundus. Mundus gets so pissed off he becomes a massive blob. And yeah, this boss battle is pretty shit. It's very similar to the succubus one, except now you have 2 health bars instead. This boy also doesn't know how to control his stomach acids, for fucking sake. It is not as bad as the succubus one, but it is still pretty poor. Oh, and I almost forgot to say, Virgil remembered he's a Devil May Cry character during this mission and tried to help, but he was still pretty crap. Dante manages to kill Mundus, saving his brother, and they celebrate saving the world by looking over all their hard work. Everyone being dead.
So, what do I think of DMC Devil May Cry?
Path is clear for us to rule.
Eh?
Yeah, all of a sudden Virgil is all, what the fuck, I thought we was going to be the new Mundus and yous were all for it. Fuck freedom, like. Dante and Cat weren't in on this part of the plan, so there's been somewhat of a mild disagreement. This really is kinda out of nowhere and really seems to only be there to make Virgil an antagonist again. Now, there was moments where him and Dante butt heads, and I do think if it was handled right, they could have made this Virgil an antagonist in a future game. Especially when he was already pretty morally dubious, you know, with killing Lilith and not really giving much of a shit about Cat. But this was not the right way to do it.
It really does just come out of left field as well. Like, I especially love Dante and Cat's reactions as soon as he says the path is clear for us to rule. You can just see them tilting their heads over going, what? What? Oh, fuck off.
Also, he was saying he was doing this for freedom and all that dandy shit, but he's genuinely confused that Dante wasn't on his side. Lad, you fucking lied to him. Of course he's going to beat you up. He's not that bad a boss, surprisingly. In comparison to the other times Virgil was a boss, he doesn't even rank close, but you know what? He's alright here. I do wish the fight wasn't interrupted by cutscenes, but you know what? For an attempt at a Virgil boss, I'll give him a pass here. Anyway, Dante defeats Virgil and Virgil fucks off into his DLC. The fact that Dante won this fight really made me doubt the capabilities of this Virgil going forward in a sequel as well. Meanwhile, in the original series, the first time you fight Virgil chronologically, you get your ass kicked. Alright, look, I'm gonna stop now because honestly I have another half worth of script ranting about how much I hate the reboot Virgil, but let's just leave it. The character is all over the place and he's shit. And so is his hat. Anyway, that's it really. Dante's hair goes white because I don't know, something about finding his true potential, I think. Dante forgot who he was, and Cat reminds him.
I don't know who I am anymore.
who you are. You are Dante. Nothing more and nothing less.
The end. Unless you played Definitive Edition. If you played Definitive Edition, you get to watch Dante and Cat walk off, and Dante slightly grabbing Cat's bum. The cheeky little prick. So how was DMC? Do I still get angry replaying it now? Nah. I do think the overly gritty tone was a bit much at times, and the gratuitous nature of some of the cutscenes did make me roll my eyes a bit, but if you skip the cutscenes, you have a pretty fun game here. The combat is pretty good, all things considered, but when you compare it to Devil May Cry, yeah, it's definitely no Devil May Cry. And sure fucking hell, I forgot to talk about Definitive, didn't I? A better ranking system, tweaked combat, a lock-on, thank fuck. And like I said, some of the cutscenes have been altered. And there's one new cutscene where Virgil tries to explain shooting a pregnant woman. I really hate saying that.
But if you want to play it on PC, sure, go on ahead. I'm not stopping you. But I strongly advise you stay away from the old gen version. The Xbox 360 and PS3 versions. Ow, there. This version. Yeah, terrible frame rate and texture popping galore. You can bin that one high. Anyway, yeah, thank you for watching. If you watched until the end, fair play to you. Good luck.